The first event for the United Nations World Tourism Organization Global Conference with the theme Digital Futures for SMEs was held on Monday, the 14th of November 2022 at the National Theatre, Lagos. The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Mohammed, had a sit-down session with students of Pampas Private School. The Deputy Director, Regional Department for African World Tourism Organization, Mr. Jamie Mayaki, in his remarks, emphasized on the effects of COVID-19 and how it affected the global economy.
Tourism recovery of the tourism sector by unleashing digital technologies to create jobs and enhance future resilience in the linkages of the tourism value chain post-COVID-19. So the ambition that we have at UNIVITO is just to reach over 1 million beneficiaries during its implementation. And we have key partners to support us in doing that. And Nigeria is one of our key supporters, both from the government side, but also from the private sector side. And we're looking forward to promote these initiatives and support the SMEs in their digitalization journey.
Miguel Angel Figueroa, one of the delegates at the global conference, spoke about the direct contributions of tourism to the economy. He talked about reaching out to 2 million SMEs over the next 3 years, targeting 31 countries.
The SMEs and the member states ask us, what are the very, very basic, pragmatic things that we can do for the SMEs since we don't have these programs that we can reach it fast enough. So as you can see from the panels, from the discussions, from the kit, I personally don't come from the tourism sector, but when I joined the UNWTO, it was amazing, the surprise to see the value chain of the tourism sector is so broad, and there are about 16 subsectors, which accounts for about 4% of the global GDPs. In other words, 1 out of 10 jobs are related to the tourism sector, which is really powerful. And during the pandemic, this was hit really hard, and we lost about $2 trillion in GDP globally, right?
Next was the pitch deck and the tourism hack competition, where 9 tourist companies made presentations, vying for the #1 spot to clinch the grand prize. This was followed by the closing remarks of Jamie Mayaki, in which he thanked the participants for their time and attention while expressing hope in Africa's development. The opening ceremony of the United Nations World Tourism Organization Global Conference on Linking Tourism, Culture and the Creative Industries was held on Tuesday, 15th of November 2022 at the Multi-Purpose Hall of the National Theatre Complex, Igomu, Lagos. The high-level conference was a convergence of top-notch panelists and stakeholders who discussed linkages and opportunities between cultural tourism and the creative industries. President Muhammad Buhari was represented by Vice President Professor Yemi Osinbajo, Alhaji Mohammed, Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Mr. Zurab Pololikashvili, Secretary General UNWTO, Otumba Olusegun Rushiwe, OON, Director General, National Council for Arts and Culture. While giving the welcome address, the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Mohammed, described the event as a historic one, adding that the event came at a time the country and the world at large are seeking industries that can drive socio-economic recovery after the COVID-19 pandemic to accelerate job creation, create an all-inclusive development, as well as foster international peace and cooperation.
The purpose of this conference is to fast-track our objective of transforming the tourism sector to a preferred sector and the creative industry into a creative economy. That is the overreaching objectives, against the background of the government's intention of supporting and facilitating an enabling environment for the true business growth of tourism and the creative industry. The hosting of this conference is a strong affirmation of Nigeria's position as a trusted business hub and a safe harbor for capital, talent, and intellectual property.
The minister made it clear that the conference presents an ideal opportunity to showcase our symbiotic potentials in tourism, culture, and the creative industry.
This conference is very important in the history of the UNWTO and Nigeria because it marks the very first time that the organization in a single forum is bringing together the three interlinked sectors of tourism, culture, and the creative industries to highlight their fundamental importance as effective tools for inclusive development and drivers of sustainable growth. For Nigeria, the conference, which has drawn participants from many member states of UNWTO, industry players, international organizations, the academia, and the media, among others, presents an ideal opportunity to showcase our rich, diverse, and unparalleled tourism and creative assets, to do some networking, learn new things, and share knowledge.
The Vice President of Nigeria, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, who represented President Muhammadu Buhari, said the theme of the conference is in line with the mission of the UNWTO, especially as it affects economic recovery.
And I think it is symbolic that this conference, which focuses on rebuilding and restarting tourism, is being held here in our own rebuilt and refurbished National Arts Theatre. Excellencies, we must also commend the UNWTO for the great work that it has done through the years, and especially the admirable way that it guided the industry in the bleak and uncertain months of the pandemic. Your bold and informed approach to guiding and advising the tourism world on restarting tourism in the aftermath of the pandemic has been pivotal in the very quick recovery of tourism worldwide. The theme of this conference, linking tourism, culture, and creative industries, pathways to recovery and inclusive development, is in line with the great work that the UNWTO has done in speeding up economic recovery and promoting inclusive development.
He said the Nigerian creative industry, especially music and movies, trend and sell all over the world.
Music, for example, as we all know, is a global language. Even those who don't know the meaning of the words of a song enjoy the rhythm. And some find out the meaning of lyrics, discovering the cultures and ideas that inspired them. But let me just test that theory of mine. That is that you don't need to understand the words of any song to enjoy it and to be able to sing it. And that music is indeed a global, very, very global language. That Africans, local and diaspora, can, using music, actors, producers, and technical people who are African, create a movie that is outstanding cinematic and technical achievement all by itself, with modern songs, relevant with modern takes, modern cinematography, and loads of hit songs, written and sung by Nigerians and by other Africans.
Professor Yemi Osinbajo commended the UNWTO for organizing the conference to harmonize ideas on the future of tourism in Africa and the world.
This is such a well put together conference. But it's also, this conference is an opportunity to define the future of tourism. What more can we do to make the movement of people across borders easier? How can we counter the nativist, ultra-nationalist rhetoric of politicians who seek to demonize foreigners, promote racial segregation? How about technology? Will virtual reality, virtual visits and tours kill human interaction? Or can we turn virtual reality to advantage for tourism? So many questions. I'm sure that this gathering of experts and industry players and enthusiasts will find answers and keep finding answers. The good thing is that this is only the beginning of this important conversation.
In between the speeches, there were special and energetic cultural dance performances by the Kuruso International Dance Troupe from Kano State and the Eko Special Cultural Troupe from the Lagos State Council of Arts and Culture. Special commemoration plaques were presented to President Muhammadu Buhari which was received by his representative, Vice President Professor Yemi Oshibajo. Another was presented to the Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed. The first panel discussion on the theme, Linking Tourism with Culture, was moderated by Dr. Linda Pereira, the CEO, L&I Communication Groups. Members of the panel of discussants were Alhaji Lai Mohammed, Honorable Minister of Information and Culture; Hem Babalola Jean Michael Heva Bimbola, Minister of Tourism and Culture, Benin Republic; His Excellency, Mr. Siando Fofana, Minister of Tourism, Côte d'Ivoire; Mr. Mamadou Sirifo, Human Development Commissioner, WIMO; Dr. Dimitri Sanga, Director, UNESCO Multi-Sectoral Regional Office, West Africa. They all shared their thoughts on lessons learned from the COVID-19 pandemic and how it should inform the kind of tourism to focus on. At the end of the engaging sessions, a gala night and award ceremony was held at the Landmark Event Center, Victoria Island, Lagos, later in the day on Tuesday, November 15th, 2022. The event was anchored by Akio Dulu Orowogene, also known as Forever, alongside Samson Makonjola. Notable high-profile personalities at the event were Alhaji Lai Mohammed, Honorable Minister of Information and Culture, and wife, Alhaja Kudirat Lai Mohammed; His Royal Highness Abdullahi Lawal Mufin Kebi Arugungu; His Royal Highness Alhaji Ibrahim Mohammed; His Royal Majesty Nnemeka Achebe Diobi of Onitsha, among many others. There were energetic dance and drama performances by the National Troupe of Nigeria and the Bolanle Austin Peters production team. Speaking at the event, the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, welcomed all and assured them of the best that can be offered in terms of cultural entertainment. He commended the organizers of the UNWTO conference for their individual commitment towards making the event a success.
I thank you all for coming here. In particular, my colleagues from Namibia, from Ivory Coast, from Congo-Kinshasa, from Gambia, from Togo, from Benin, Sierra Leone. I thank you very much for honoring me by being here, because I know what many of you went through to get to Nigeria. I also want to thank all our experts who took part in our workshops and everybody who in one way or the other has contributed in making our first ever global conference on tourism, culture, and creative industry a success.
The Secretary General of the UNWTO, Zurab Pololikashvili, wished Nigeria and Africa peace, wealth, and prosperity. He especially thanked the chief host, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, for the event.
It's really amazing, and many, many thanks to show us the best of your country, the best of the culture of your country, which is unique, and that's why people have to come here. That's why you have And that's why you need more and more international visitors here to see the beauty, to see this authentic culture you have. You will never see this kind, and I really regret that I didn't come with my family and with my friends here, but I will be back. And thank you. I want to tell to beautiful spouse that, Madam, you have one of the best person next to you and we ever met in our lives. And Nigeria has one of the best ministers. I'm sure that ministers, they will agree and they will not be upset. One of the best ministers in the world. Thank you, Minister, for your heart, for your wisdom, for your hospitality, because tourism is about hospitality and friendship, nothing else.
Awards were presented to some individuals, groups, and TV shows that have contributed to the promotion of tourism, culture, and creativity in Nigeria. Some distinguished individuals and organizations who received awards were Segun Arinze, Ali Nuhu Mohammed, T.Y. Bello, Dare Atalade, Goge Africa, Osun Osogbo Festival, among many others. The closing remark was delivered by Mrs. Lydia Shehu Jafia, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture, before music, whining and dining continued till the end.
Ladies and gentlemen, with a round of applause. A round of applause for our dignitaries. Thank you very much. Please, we'll give a round of applause for that. Thank you very much.
As part of the activities lined up for the first World Tourism Industry Organization Conference in Nigeria, the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, met with Nollywood stars on Wednesday, the 16th of November 2022 at the Civic Center, Victoria Island, Lagos. The event, tagged A Day with Nollywood, was held on the sidelines of the Global Conference on Linking Tourism, Culture and the Creative Industries. In attendance at the event were the Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, and wife, Alhaja Kudirat Mohammed. His Excellency, Secretary General of the World Tourism Organization, Mr. Zurab Pololis-Kivili. There were also global participants from the world tourism and culture sectors who came for the 2022 United Nations World Tourism Organization Global Conference on Linking Tourism, Culture and the Creative Industries. The event also had in attendance a legion of Nollywood veterans from different parts of the country. After a comedy performance by comedian Kofi Daguru, the Secretary General of the World Tourism Organization, Mr. Zurab Pololis-Kivili, gave his remark in which he said the meeting with Nollywood is geared at exploring a collaboration between the cinemas, movie and tourism to promote the African essence and culture outside the African continent.
We have to start with Nollywood, the concrete collaboration. It was mentioned many times that collaboration is crucial. Today, especially after the COVID, we saw that we have to be united. But the main purpose of ours will be to have a roadmap how to use cinema, this creative industry, these creative people, again, the same, to show African culture, to export African culture and to export opportunity of African tourism outside of continent. The movie and cinema is the best ambassador and instrument for it, like gastronomy we mentioned yesterday, like culture itself. Movie and gastronomy and cinema are the big part of culture today, and let's use it. We are talking about big numbers, we are talking about ambitious projects, and let's use and let's make first pilot project when we use movie and cinema to promote tourism.
The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, in his remarks, spoke on the power of the creative industry while citing stories of how many Nigerians have become global celebrities through sports, movies, music, and the showbiz industry.
You see, this shows the authenticity and uniqueness of this industry. And that is why it will always grow. I listened very, very attentively to the presentation of both Dr. Hussein and Okay. And the second one thing, why is Nollywood so relevant? Why will it always remain relevant? Because we can all relate to it. What are the themes? The themes of Nollywood are actually what we all go through every day, what happened in the past. And I have no doubt that yes, we might complain about the quality of our films. And I'll say I agree with you, we can improve on the quality of our films. But we have, or rather you have what nobody in the world has. You have content. And content is the most important thing in this industry.
The minister revealed that the Ministry of Information and Culture, in a bid to make the creative industry more favorable for all stakeholders and yield productivity, amended a number of the broadcasting code. He said government will continue to provide an enabling environment for every sector to thrive. He also said efforts will be made to support the industry to produce bankable contents that will catch the eyes of brands in Nigeria and outside the shores of the country.
Please, I'm using the opportunity to call on the state governments and the local governments to please help this industry. We have the talented people, we have the content, we have everything, but we don't have enough cinema houses to exhibit our wares. The federal government cannot build cinema houses alone. It's not done anywhere. But what we can do, we can provide the enabling environment. For instance, I know that as a minister, we succeeded in including in the list of pioneer status the creative industry. In other words, if you make a film, you'll be treated as a pioneer, which means you'll be exempt from tax for the first 3 years and other benefits. But what we realized again, and we're working on it, is that most films in Nigeria don't have a budget of up to 100 million naira. So not many people are benefiting. So we want to bring it down to a lower level. We'll continue to work for you. I thank you very much.
The event also featured a short film titled National Cake, directed by Kemi Adesoye. The film featured Nollywood stars like Akintola Akin-Lewis, Kunle Kuka, Linda Ejiofor, and a host of others. The event was brought to an end afterwards. From Biscon Communications, it's congratulations to the United Nations World Tourism Organization and the Nigerian Ministry of Information and Culture on the successful hosting of the United Nations World Tourism Organization Global Conference on linking tourism, culture, and the creative industries.